This is kbci.blogspot.com. I'm George Boston Rhynes, and I'm in Valdosta, Georgia. Today's Valdosta Daily Times headlines read on page 48, Oklahoma, dental clinic inspections not necessary. Wow, isn't that heavy? A dentist, Dr. W. Scott Harrington, whose practice was inspected after officials determined a patient had contracted hepatitis C at this dental facility. This doctor, or this clinic, have two dental clinics. This is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so this is what I've been talking about for such a long time. If we, the American people, sit back and understand that we are afraid to tell the cutting edge news, or if we work on a job and because work laws wherein you can be fired for good cause, bad cause, or for no cause at all, we have people who know going on their job, but because of fear, they won't talk about what I've been talking about. Now you know that some person employed at this dental facility knew that this was going on. Some of them probably may have gone to the news, may have called 60 Minutes, Al Sharpton, 48 Hours, Dateline, or Okla probably would listen to them. And because nobody listens to them, it pushes the American people in a zone that is called the danger zone. So this is why I am stressing so hard for people to pick up cameras such as this and put it on YouTube, because we can no longer count on the traditional 60 Minutes, 48 Hours, Dateline, or any of those programs to report the cutting edge truths that could save our lives and the lives of our children. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? 7,000 patients being subjected to this without any inspection requirements or any inspection being done, and then to make the comment that do not inspect dental clinics because nobody complains about it. Well, why do they inspect our yards every week here in Valdosta and in other cities? If they inspect our yards and if we don't cut our grass, we get ticketed for it. They have roadblocks here in the city to inspect whether we have driver's license and insurance. Yet something that deals with human life in the field of surgery with the exposure of the blood, and then they don't even inspect it. I have been saying, and I'm going to continue to say it, that something is gravely wrong in the United States of America. And yet we pride ourselves in being a nation of laws. Somebody have lied to you, and somebody have lied to me. And if I put my life on the line in foreign countries to carry the M16 or the AK-47 to murder men, women, and children if necessary, then should I not be willing to stand up and report the truth if the Valdosta Daily Times, if the Quitman Free Press, if the Thomasville Enterprise, if the Atlanta Journal and Constitution and the state of Georgia television station will not report it? Should I not care enough about the Jesus that you duplicate, the Muhammad that you duplicate, the Buddha that you duplicate, the son of Amram and Yoshebel Moses that you duplicate? Yet you sit down and say nothing when you see these things happen in our community. America is going down the hill in a hat basket while we sit back and duplicate, imitate, and placate that we love Jesus. We go to church on Sunday. We go to church on Saturday. We go to Jummah services on Friday. But somebody who is proclaiming to love Allah, El Shaddai, Jehovah, or any other the other 273 names of God I got record of, as long as we go around and lie and pretend with a mask on that we love Jesus, we love Dr. King, somebody is lying to us. This article in the Valdosta Daily Times proves my point. The headline as I get ready to close reads, Oklahoma, dental clinic inspections not necessary. Now, there's a possibility people have contracted hepatitis, AIDS, and other diseases because no inspection was done, and above all, because just maybe some of the employees went to the news media, like I have been going to the news media here, and tell people that we have women out in the old jail that's living under inhumane conditions, with rats with rats as big as cats, with rats as big as cats. We are told we have had 31 jail deaths for whatever reason. We all want criminals punished, but just because they are arrested and taken to the Valdosta and Lowndes County Jail, they should not die while they are in police custody. And so we have gone for the last 30 years to local and state and federal government, including the Department of Justice. Let me repeat, including Eric Holder's office, asking that somebody come in and investigate the 31 jail deaths from 1994 to 2009. And from 2009 to 2013, we don't know how many inmates have died because they won't tell us. And the sad thing about it, the Christians, the Muslims, the Jews, the lawyers, the doctors, the mothers, the fathers, the electricians, the carpenters, etc., the educators and retired educators are not asking any questions. Yet many of these people that have died were military veterans. Let me repeat, they served their country in Germany, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and in other war-torn areas that we don't even know about because they classified. And so I'm going to appeal unto the American people once again. We had better wake up. We are losing, y'all. We are losing this nation. Look how much we have talked about HUD and how federal dollars are being spent here in Valdosta through the paving of roads and getting contracts so we can get some of this money. I'm talking about the people on the low economic level of Valdosta and Lowndes County in the state of Georgia, DOT. We got an asphalt layer right there in Brooks County, and you need to listen to him. Let him tell his story. You say that we are not qualified. Well, hell, we understand the qualifications. Yeah, we understand the qualifications, and I'm gonna close on this note. Don't you know that black people was overqualified to use the bathrooms in the 40s, 50s, and 60s? Don't you know we was overqualified to sit down and in a restaurant to eat? Don't you know we was overqualified to be police officers, state patrols, the right to fight in the United States Armed Forces without having to? Don't you know we were qualified to vote? Don't you know we was qualified to be more than 3/5 of a human being? Don't you know we were more than qualified just to be relegated to labor type jobs? Don't you know we were qualified to be on Bonanza and the Griffin, the 26 Men, have gun, will travel, gun smoke, I Love Lucy, Days of Our Lives, The Edge of Night? Don't you know we was qualified to do all those jobs and the Griffin Show? But we were denied those rights because we didn't have the complexion for the protection. So don't let people fool you today. I have my daughter, a college graduate. My son-in-law got 2 or 3 degrees, and he can tell you a story about discrimination that my grandmother told me. So at some level in this country, black folk got to stop being scared as heaven and start standing up like the prophets, priests, and kings of yesteryear. So now I'm going to close out once again. I cut this clip because of what's listed here in the front on page 4A in the Valdosta Daily Times. Can you imagine people go to the dentist to have medical treatment and subjected to unclean instruments? Do you know that they say instrument had rust on them? Now you know that some nurse worked in that facility and didn't approve of that. I can only imagine how many times some of them good people may have gone to the newspaper, like I've gone to the newspapers, about the jail deaths, about public meetings not being so public, about a meeting that took place in Brooks County and nothing was reported. How Reverend Rose stood up on behalf of blacks not being employed at the Valdosta City School system and how the at-large system and the other problems in our community that we are all concerned about, but yet the South Georgia news media wouldn't report nothing about it. It was as if though a tree fell in the forest, and we all was sitting down around the tree, and we saw the tree when it fell. Some of us got hurt from the limb that fell from the tree, but the South Georgia media tell us there is no forest, and the tree never fell. And we can only say to the South Georgia news media, what in the hell are you doing, and what in heaven do you think we are doing? We got to tell the truth, because Jesus said in St. Luke 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And as long as they keep truth from you, you can never be free. And that means your children and great-grandchildren gonna go deeper into hell, because we refuse to do what Jesus said. It don't matter how much you go to church. It don't matter how much you go to mosque. Don't matter how much you go to synagogue. Don't matter how much you say I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized, and on my way to heaven. It does not matter. If you cannot stand up for the principles of truth, you are not the follower of Jesus. You are not the followers of Muhammad. You are not the followers of Buddha. You are not the follower of anything or body that stands up for what is right and what is just in God's world. Once again, this is Boston G.B.R. on YouTube, kvci.blogspot.com on my blog. We giving you the truth because somebody got to do it. And above all, if Jesus stood up, then what's wrong with me and what's wrong with you? Bye-bye. We go.